Well, good afternoon, Thursday afternoon. My dog's here still talking to me, but she doesn't like sitting up here much, so she's going to go off now. Go on, off you go. There you go. It's the end of week 2. By and large, it's been absolutely brilliant, but it has had its challenges. We can't replace what goes on in a classroom on a daily basis, but I think over the last couple of weeks we've managed to bridge any gaps. However, the information that came out from government in the new decree on Monday is a game changer, because what we're saying is that there will be no more face-to-face in-school BSAC for the remainder of this academic year. So that means it will be distance learning, and that's going to cause some challenges. It's going to create some opportunities as well, but it's going to be quite stressful. So we need to work together to make sure that we can bridge those challenges and come through, and that the students, your children, don't suffer and there are no gaps in their learning. So over the week, and particularly since that announcement, we've had lots of feedback from parents, and it's been really useful, and we're reflecting on it. For those of you who know me by now, know that I like to hear these things and see what we can do and see if we can change things. And we can't always, but we will try our very best. So we've had feedback ranging from we'd like more pre-recorded videos and face-to-face from the teacher. We'd like more conference style calls from the teacher, and we're working on those. They are not straightforward, and to give you an example, we've been using Zoom and we've put lots of protection around that, but a school in Q8 yesterday emailed me to say that someone had hacked into one of those lessons and had access to the children. We've got to be careful of that, so it's not as straightforward as just press the button and that's what we're going to do. We reflect, we test, and as some parents in some year groups would have seen, we're starting this week to push out those conference style lessons, and there'll be some pre-recorded lessons as well. Other feedback we've received, and this is where it's always a challenge as the head and as a school, we've had too much work, we've had not enough work from the same class, we've had the tasks are really challenging to the children, are finding them very easy, and all these things happen on a day-to-day basis within school as well. But the difference is the teacher is there, they wander around the class, they engage with the children, and they pick up those keys to identify that, reflect, tweak and change. That can't be done from a distance, and that's why it's really difficult to do a one-size-fits-all lesson delivered remotely that every child will grasp exactly the same way. That doesn't happen in school, that's not realistic, and it's not going to be realistic at home. So we're going to have to work together on how we can bridge that. Now, the distance learning program I think has gone well so far. It could have gone better, and it will go better moving forward. But I'd like to give you the analogy of a pilot, a fixed-wing commercial pilot who's had years of training, is a competent flyer, works on planes, and then overnight he's asked to fly helicopters. The principle is exactly the same. He's flying, or she's flying, but the difference is it's a different machine, it's a different beast, and that's what online learning or distance learning is compared to being in the school. So please bear with us, it won't happen overnight. Normally, if this was going to be a switch, you'd have lots of training opportunities, you'd have lots of practice. We haven't had that, so our practice is our previous lesson, and we're building up on that, and we just have to keep refining and tweaking. We're not going to revolutionise, it's going to be small incremental changes over time as we see them happening and as we get feedback. So please do keep the feedback coming. Over the weekend and the next week, our teachers will be planning for the next 14 weeks. Obviously we had work in place for 2 weeks, but the game changer, as I said, for 14 weeks or till the end of the term is massive. So we do need to plan that, and we need to look at that. So next week, all our teachers will be planning. You will still be receiving work at home. There may not be so much feedback just for that period whilst we work through the challenges and prepare the essential curriculum moving forward. And I say essential because it's essential that the children do not have gaps in their knowledge, and we've got to make sure we do all our best work must go into that to make sure that there are no gaps as the students progress. There's various parental challenges with this as well. We've started to experience it over the 2 weeks, but it's going to go on for longer. So for our early years foundation stage, our children are independent to a certain degree, but by their age, they cannot be fully independent and left alone. So there's a lot of pressure on our parents to be involved there, and you're doing a great job, but we do sympathise with you. It's not a case of setting a child up on a task, walking away and coming back and seeing how they've done. We appreciate that, and it's on multiple levels as well, because parents who have a very young child but also have children across the school, you're doing a lot of juggling, and all we can say is keep doing what you're doing, because it is working. We know it's a challenge, but thank you very much for how you're approaching it. We also know you've got to hold down your own jobs, and that's the third ball to juggle. So just if we can help in any way, please do reach out and let us know. And we are trying to work on even more solutions to support you in those challenges. Our non-exam years students, the big challenge there is there enough work? Should it all be completed? Should we be doing any more? Is there time to be away from the screen? When does the school day finish officially? And those routines that we have at school aren't in place at the moment as much. So one thing I would say for our non-exam students is the routines, try and stick as much as you can to a school day. But again, we appreciate if you've got siblings or parents are having to work, that has to be juggled. So we do understand that. It's just a guidance, it's not a rule. And then we have our exam students. Now, we still don't have news. We are pushing the exam boards. They have sorted out the UK. They are now working on the international schools. We have spoken to them this week, and they said international schools will be getting news soon, but for us to be patient. But as I said last week, we promise you will not miss out. We will do all we can for you to secure the very best grades that you deserve based on the amount of work that you've done, have been doing, and continue to do. And I use that last bit really carefully, continue to do. We do not know what we're going to be asked for, and what we must be giving the examinables is the most up-to-date, best pieces of work. And if that is what you're doing at the moment, keep working at it. So we don't want you to switch off. We will tell you when things can slow down or if we need to speed up, but just keep working as hard as you possibly can. Parents, I just want to finish by saying so very well done, and we do appreciate the challenges. I'm a parent with Paulette. We've got 2 children at school. We're trying to juggle our work and supporting them as well. Yes, they are independent, but we don't want to just leave them alone and presume the work has been completed. So I understand the challenges that you are going through with work, with a few children, and also just with doing something new. You are not teachers, so we do understand that. Please, 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 as I said last week, we accept that. Don't feel everything has to be done perfectly. It isn't done perfectly in a class when the teacher's walking around. So just bear with us on that, and also be understanding to yourselves. It's not a competition to have the very best piece of work. We just need to make sure that the essential learning is taking place. You'll see if you've opened my email, which obviously you have by accessing this video, but there is also a letter from myself and Sean McGee, the chair of the board, hopefully how we can support you moving forward. So please do read that carefully. One, it's supporting parents. We've had a long discussion about that, but also it's supporting the school as well, as you will see. So again, at BSAC as a community, we're here to help, but we also need your help as well. So please do read that carefully and take on board the points there. And again, there's an email in there if you have any concerns. And finally, at the end of week 2, I'm going to ask you to switch off from screens and to give the children, your children, the students, a complete rest from work, please. I want them to actually have some downtime, some family time, to make sure that you actually enjoy being together without any stresses around. So please do take that on board and have a great weekend, and finally, stay safe.